Every single time you click your mouse, every app you launch, it all has to go through one tiny, powerful component that's basically your computer's brain. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that brain, the CPU.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to wonder what's going on under the hood? What piece of hardware is doing all the heavy lifting, the actual thinking? Well, the answer is actually simpler and honestly way more fascinating than you'd probably guess.
Okay, here's the best way to picture it. Imagine a world-class master chef in a super high-tech kitchen. This chef can take any recipe you give them, a set of instructions, and execute it flawlessly to create an incredible meal. In your computer, that chef is the central processing unit, or as we all know it, the CPU.
All right, so first up, let's talk about what this all-purpose boss really does. Think of it as the ultimate generalist, the core brain that's built to handle pretty much anything and everything you can throw at it.
See, the CPU is designed from the ground up to be incredibly versatile. Just like that master chef can make a simple soup or a 7-course gourmet meal, your CPU can handle running your entire operating system or just calculating a single cell in a spreadsheet. And its real superpower, tackling those super complex jobs one step at a time in a perfectly precise order.
So let's peek inside this kitchen and meet the crew. Because, even a master chef doesn't work alone, right? And neither does the CPU. It's actually a team of highly specialized parts working together in perfect sync. First, we've got the control unit. This is our master chef. It's the one reading the recipe, which is just your program's instructions, and telling everyone else in the kitchen exactly what to do and when to do it. It doesn't do the chopping itself, but it runs the whole show.
Then you've got the arithmetic logic unit, or ALU for short. Now this is the powerhouse of the kitchen. These are the knives, the ovens, the mixing bowls. Anytime some math needs to get done or a logical choice has to be made, like, is this number bigger than that one, the control unit sends that job straight to the ALU.
And finally, we have the registers. Just picture tiny little prep bowls sitting right there on the chef's countertop. They're incredibly fast but very small storage spots that hold the exact ingredients, the data, that the chef needs for the step they're working on right this second.
So there you have it. You've got the master chef, the control unit, calling the shots. You've got the kitchen tools, the ALU, doing the work, and you've got the prep bowls, the registers, holding the ingredients. This whole team is designed to do one thing over and over and over again: process instructions.
So how does this crew actually cook? Well, every single thing your computer does, from moving your mouse cursor 1 pixel to loading a giant video file, it all boils down to a really simple, endlessly repeating 3-step dance. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. The CPU's entire existence is just this one basic cycle, repeated at a speed that is, frankly, hard to even wrap your head around. It's not some kind of magic, it's just raw repetition on an unbelievable scale. And here's the loop. First, the control unit fetches the next step from the recipe book, which is your computer's memory. Step 2, it decodes that instruction. It figures out, okay, do I need to add, subtract, or move something? And step 3, it executes the command, passing the job to the ALU if any math is involved. Fetch, decode, execute. Over and over, billions of times a second. Okay, so if the process is actually that simple, how in the world did CPUs get so ridiculously fast? Well, over the years, engineers have come up with some absolutely brilliant tricks to squeeze every last drop of performance out of this cycle.
For one thing, there's just sheer speed. When you see a clock speed like 3.5 gigahertz, that literally means the CPU can run through that 3-step fetch, decode, execute cycle 3.5 billion times every single second. It's an almost unimaginable pace.
But it's not just about raw speed. Modern CPUs use a really clever trick called pipelining. It works exactly like a factory assembly line. Instead of waiting for one instruction to go all the way through, fetch, decode, and execute, the CPU starts fetching the next instruction while the first one is still being decoded. It's a game changer for efficiency. And on top of that, at some point, engineers asked, hey, why have only one master chef? So today, a modern CPU packs multiple cores on a single chip. It's like having 8 or even 16 master chefs all working in the same kitchen, each one tackling their own complex recipe. You combine that with a bunch of other smart tricks, and you get the incredible speeds we just take for granted today.
Which brings us to a really important point. What is the CPU's unique genius? I mean, we have other processors in our machines now, like GPUs for graphics. So what makes the CPU so special that it's still the heart of everything?
Well, it really comes down to this. The CPU is our master chef, right? A genius at following one long, complicated recipe from start to finish. It's perfect for complex, one after the other kinds of tasks. A GPU, on the other hand, is a totally different animal. That's more like an army of line cooks, where each one is doing one simple, repetitive task, like chopping one carrot, all at the exact same time.
So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that your CPU is a brilliant, high-speed specialist. It's the brain that runs the entire show, because it's perfectly designed for the kind of complex, step-by-step logic that all modern computing is built on.
And that leaves us with one last question. Our Master Chef CPU is amazing at creating one really complex gourmet meal. But what happens when you don't need a gourmet meal? What happens when you need to make 10,000 simple sandwiches all at once? Well, for that, you need a completely different kind of kitchen. And we'll explore that kitchen next time when we dive in to the GPU.